smart, tough, really physical, versatile. Played in a pro-style offense. I think from a physical standpoint, big hands, long arms, really good feet. Can really anchor in pass protection against the biggest, strongest, best interior players in the league, and just really felt like this guy was a really complete player in both the run game and in the pass game. And again, just his intangibles really fit what we're looking for. He's played like all three positions. He played tackle, guard, and center. We see him as an inside player. He's going to play guard for us, but he's just a really good. We were looking for the best player available at that pick, and I feel like he was the best lineman, on our board for sure. And he's just a really well-rounded player. I think when you take a look at his college film, his Senior Bowl film, combine, pro day, he really aced all those phases of the evaluation process and the interview process with him. Like I said, this guy's got real presence, and we really felt like solidifying the interior of our line for the years to come was really, really important, both from a run game and from a pass protection standpoint. And again, I think that from a culture standpoint, this guy, he's the real thing from a toughness and a character standpoint. 320 pounds, and you take a look at his arm length, his hand size, 32 reps on the bench press. This is a really strong player. We're really looking for power players on offense, particularly inside, and now we feel like we have that. We just really see him as one of those, secondary players that we really value. You can't have enough of them. You guys saw that the record amount of receivers that were drafted in the first 2 rounds in this year's draft. And, JT, he's just got a lot of rare DB stuff. I mean, he's 6'2 plus 195. He runs 4'3", 10'8 broad, 39.5 vert. And, those are rare DB numbers. And then, he led the nation in interceptions. He had 6, interceptions, returned, a couple for touchdowns, and he can play in the slot. He can play deep. How we use Derwin James, going down in the slot, playing dime money or star. Now you have a guy in the deep part of the field. You have him and Nas now, who completes the deep part of the field with a lot of range. We really felt like Isaiah's a really good fit for what we were looking for in a back in this draft. He's a very complete runner. He's got really good size for the position. He's a 6-footer, almost 220. He started since his freshman year in the #1 league, in the country. And, he's a 3-time All-SEC player. And I think he can really see. I think he can really see the game. I think he's got really good instincts. You can take a look at the data of making people miss, force missed tackles, which we take a real close look at, and just felt like he was a really productive player coming from an elite program, and you're really seeing him have to, navigate some NFL-type runs, against NFL-type fronts, being in the SEC West. So we're really excited to add him to the group. I think it's going to create great competition in that room, and so I was really, excited to be able to pick him. Yeah, it's a very, again, in Jimbo's offense, not only the protection side of it, but he's, an excellent pass protector. I think mentally was responsible for a lot there. He was a 3-down back. I think that's what Jimbo would tell you. He never left the field. And then from a pass catching standpoint, there was a lot of production in the passing game. And then I think from the workouts, you got to see him run a lot of different type routes that you would see him run in the NFL, and very smooth, natural pass catcher, soft hands. And so, again, I think this is a complete back, and we're excited to add him to this group and allow him to compete. Exciting evaluation, just from a pure, size standpoint, that's really what we're looking for. He's 6'4", 325, 10, hand, 34.5-inch arms, and he's a real power player at the point of attack. We did a lot of work on this guy. He had an outstanding Senior Bowl. I think if you take a look at his Senior Bowl, there were a lot of really competitive reps versus Zion and Cole Strange and a bunch of good players at that All-Star game. and I thought he had an outstanding All-Star game. But then I think just from his game tape, I think for a big man, you can really see this guy run and chase the football. If you go take a look at the LSU game, the Oregon game, stuff that's on the perimeter for a guy his size, what stood out to us is a guy that can really chase the football too. But then, at the pro day, Jay Rogers and Johnny Timo, worked him out and put him through, our type of workout. And, he really aced that part of the process. And I think that was a really big factor in us really kind of solidifying our feeling for him, is just seeing him live. And then he came to our local pro day and we were able to spend some time with him. So just excited about, where he can go with his game, because he's at the beginning, but he's what we're looking for inside. And I think that, we're excited to get him in that room with Sebastian and Austin, two guys that have really, established themselves in this league, and a guy that he can really learn from. Christian Covington, pros, get him in there with Jerry and create some competition, and so I think that was a really, really good pick for us. Bigger, stronger. They know that how we expect to play now, and I think just Tito, he, from a stylistic standpoint, he probably wasn't a fit for everybody in the draft, but he was a really good fit for us. And I think we did a lot of quality research on him, and I think he's going to, fit right in. And it's always a difficult transition inside in the NFL, no matter what side of the ball you're on. But we're excited to get him in here and see what he can do. Yeah, just super excited about this guy. We held this guy in really high regard at the University of Georgia, a national champion. But beyond that, where he played for them, he started for 2 years at tackle and inside. You were able to see him against the best in the country, and I think the way he played against Michigan, against those two rushers that were both, first-round caliber rushers, certainly Hutchinson, the second pick in the draft, and Ojabo, he would have been a top, probably 20 pick or something like that. You were able to see him operate, and then just in that league alone, I think it was a really pure evaluation. He's got size, he's got real toughness, heavy hands, he's really smart. I've got a great relationship with Kirby Smart and that group of coaches. So much respect for them, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking to join up with guys that have been champions, that have been in really, really tough environments. And then, every single day in practice, he's blocking 10 first rounders his whole career. And so every day in practice, you're able to get a full, measure of where you stand. So I think it was an outstanding pick for us, great value, and he just adds to the depth of our front. And I'm really excited about where our O-line looks like right now.
It looks like it right tackle, or
probably not to start out with, but just the fact that he has played there, I think, is a winning edge. He also snapped at the Senior Bowl, and I think that's kind of a characteristic of a lot of the guys that we've taken, is we've been able to see that flex. So how it goes in the season. You normally keep 8 on game day, and you need that flexibility. So we've seen him block a lot of good players in a lot of different positions, and that was a big part of the evaluation for us. We're excited about him. Yeah, Jasir Taylor was a guy that I think from a defensive perspective, a kicking game perspective, we just felt like we really knew the guy. I think James McPherson, our area scout, who's a former Demon Deacon quarterback, we were able to get some inside knowledge on him. He was here on a 30 visit. He also had a private workout. So, just felt like we knew a lot about him. He's a 2-time captain there. He also was a kickoff returner, had a kickoff return for a touchdown this year versus Old Dominion. And so I just think that you're getting a DB with good dimensions. He's 5'11", 190, 4'4", 37-inch vertical, ball skills. He's played inside and outside for Wake. So just feel like he's a DB, a guy that we like to join up with. So we'll see where it goes. But Ryan Ficken and Chris Gould also did a lot of work on him just from a special team standpoint, returner, and then in the core unit. So I think he'll give us some good depth there. We were able to get Dean Leonard from Ole Miss at the end there. I mean, he's a guy, we did a lot of work on the end of this draft because we had so many picks in the last 2 rounds. We did a ton of work, and I think that, in the secondary, there are guys that you can find there late if you do the work. And so, we, Ronaldo Hill, Derek Ansley, Tommy Donatel, our scouts. I mean, we just did a ton of work on the back end of the draft. And so Dean had a lot of good things to join up with. He started out in Canada, in Calgary, and played really, really well there. Transferred to Ole Miss, and you're getting to see him against the best in the country, each and every week. He's 6 foot 190. Ran a really low 4.4, smooth in transition. Did play some inside. Really good in run support. So just felt like he's got some probably similar to Mark Webb last year. Just has a lot of traits that we feel like translate to the National Football League, and we'll see where it goes. Yeah, and then Xander Horvath, we were able to get him at the end, and he's a really intriguing prospect. He's a guy that has got a lot of versatility. Running the football, catching the football, blocking, special teams. He's got a pro body, and we're just going to figure it out. But I think starting him out at fullback and giving us a real look in a 2-back role, but then as a core special teams guy, just in that mold. But this guy did a lot for Purdue. You were able to see him in a lot of different roles for those guys. Jeff Brom does a great job coaching on offense, but you're also able to see this guy in the kicking game, and he worked out really well. So just excited to see where it goes with him, but really quality player.